Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Conn'Cast Podcast. I'm your host Finn Tumber, and this is the first episode of Series 2. Woo! Woo! I always do that. I always hear if someone does the woo back. Today I've got a very special episode actually, and I'm very glad this has happened. It's been a few months in the making. I'm here with Men Talk, more specifically, do I say Men Talk dot? Right, you tell me how to say it.
Men Talk UK, so we're spelt men-talk.uk.
Brilliant. So to make it absolutely specific, I'm here today with men-talk.uk with Ryan over here and Rowland. So love to have you both on, guys. I'm honestly, absolutely happy that you're here finally. And to start off with, I think a good place to start would actually be talking about Men Talk. Did you want to take it away, Ryan? Kind of talking about what it's about? And
Men Talk was set up, before it was called Men Talk, I was doing some groups on my own in my gym, just inviting blokes in when they want to come and talk on I think it was a Wednesday daytime, wasn't it? And we had a good turnout of blokes coming in every so often. And then it just grew. And you'll have to help me a little bit, Rowland, because so much has happened in this period of time where I was doing the groups in there, and we saw that there was obviously, and it always is, a great need for, a safe place for men to come and talk.
100%, yeah. Yeah,
it expanded to the point where we felt it was going to be better to have a permanent base. Myself and Rowland knew each other through personal training, because I'm doing a bit of training with Rowland, and me and Rowland, very good friends, best of friends, in fact. Yes. And now Rowland is running the groups. He's doing I didn't realise. He's doing a lot of the face-to-face work in terms of running the groups, and he's absolutely killing it in terms of the people coming through the doors, the people who are giving such positive feedback, and he's doing absolutely amazing. So
I didn't realise, Rowland, you really
Yeah, I've just they're always every Friday. Doing regular without fail on a Friday, no matter what happens. If it's someone's birthday, for a meal, we're doing it on the Saturday. It's always on the Friday. And we have now started doing them on a Monday as well. But I need to step back from things a weeny bit. I've done a little bit too much, really. So absolutely. We've got another guy, one of our one of our ambassadors of Men Talk, Keith, who is now looking at the Monday groups. But
brilliant.
Picking up on what you just said there, Ryan, this thing about the gym. If I remember, because we're going back a little while now, I think we're forgetting, aren't we, how long it is. That was another thing where we thought a gym, a manly sort of setting. Could be yet another thing of getting over that stigma where guys sort of have to,
cannot agree more,
worry about opening up. So I think that was one of the reasons we thought, that would. But as you say, it grew, and this unit came up.
Yeah,
years ago now.
Yeah, and I think from having that permanent base, it's a place where people are coming in and actually saying that they feel safe.
Yeah,
they're saying that it's a place where they do feel comfortable coming to talk,
to really express themselves, and just without any judgment, they can come here.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
And I think what comes up more and more is the difference, the comparison between a lot of groups, whatever it might be, for whatever support groups, whether it's slimming groups or AA groups or anything, all wonderful.
Yeah.
But I assume they sort of have to rent a venue for a couple of hours, one evening a week, and this sort of thing, which is fine. And that's why, although it's a struggle keeping the rent paid, that's why we wanted this, because it is, a home. And safe is the word that comes up a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, safe.
Yeah. We often hear guys say that they're safe.
Yeah. That's so good to hear.
And obviously, it's a bit warmer and a bit cosier in their nice evening groups.
And especially if you go into the other room, because we're obviously in the front, aren't we? But over there, you're really tucked away, and it's all nice. And
it's
fantastic.
Very nice. Yeah, we had about a dozen or so Friday, I think, in there, and a really nice group.
Yeah, brilliant. So what I was actually going to say as well before, I keep losing track of what I'm going to say. When I said about, obviously, mentalk.uk, before you obviously started getting these sessions done, what was the catalyst? Was there something that you two decided that we need this for men? What was it that made you want to start this?
For me personally, I've had my own experiences struggling with mental health. Some years ago, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder.
Right, yeah.
Sections and suicide attempts, and there's been a lot in terms of my personal history and family history as well with mental health. And going through those times, you realise how little there is out there, and how stretched NHS, mental health teams, community mental health teams, how stretched they are and how limited their resources are.
Yeah,
and all respect to what they do, they're doing the best they can.
Yeah.
But there's only so many people to go around to support people, and in light of that, I thought it would be really good to have a place to go or someone to talk to, whether it's on a one-to-one basis or a group. To open up and just as a bit of a sort of a bridge really before they might go and have formal counselling or psychiatric help. It's just someone to talk to in a time where they might just need someone to listen.
So just to really clear up, if people were interested in coming to your sessions, this isn't crisis. This is more of just support, just to make it really clear that this is more a support if people need that immediate help.
And I think the important bit is myself and Rowland and Mitch, who's our other director, who's unfortunately not able to be here today.
Gutted, yeah.
That we know our boundaries, we know our limits, we know our expertise, we know we're here to listen, but we know that we can't necessarily save people. We can't necessarily fix people, but we can give people that time. And that sometimes goes a hell of a long way to helping their lives and making things a little bit easier for them.
It's so fantastic. I mean, as soon as I heard about you guys in the island, I thought, wow. I came to one of your, it was a raffle, an event, wasn't it, down at the Co-op Club?
Yes.
Were you there? Yes, I did come. It was
That's where we bumped into each other.
That was where we bumped into each other, and I wanted to come because I wanted to find out more about you guys, and I thought the work you do is fantastic. There's a lot of people there. That was a great event.
It was really, and it just goes to show the support, and even at an event like that, we had a couple of people come up to us, commenting on, what a fantastic job you're doing. And we don't, none of us, we're not doing it for the praise, but it is nice to get that affirmation. And, just one guy there happened to be part of a printing company who does all our leaflets and cards. So while some people support in some ways, whether it be the financial contribution, if someone's able to do that sort of thing, that's a great help. That's an enormous expense.
Hugely.
So
it's
great.
It's great work. I was going to say as well, we brushed on the weekly sessions you guys both run. What time is it? Is it on a Friday? Just for the people listening, and
it's every Monday and Friday at 7 p.m.
Yes.
The way we tend to run, the Monday doesn't appear to be quite as busy, so that's just a relatively brief, as long as people need it, but it's only really for an hour or so. The Friday one is a bit busier. So the little format that we've worked out with this is that we do an hour and 15, whatever. There's no timing it. There's no alarm bells on or anything, but we do it. And then to give everyone a little bit of a chance just to get stuff off their chest, because obviously I don't want to be, if I've got I think my record is 17, I think, in here once. And I don't want to be saying, right, you've got 3 minutes to talk, so
you've had 17
in that bit in there, not in this bit. No.
But even still, it's slightly bigger in the other room. Even still, with the times I've been there, it doesn't feel like you're on top of each other, because people are now, they know the ropes, they know when to give people time to talk and to listen, and they're really getting to know each other. And even when someone new comes in, you've got other blokes who are sitting there, who've been for, on a few occasions, who are giving quite good advice, and good support, which goes a long way when someone new walks through that door absolutely shitting themselves.
100%.
It's daunting going in anywhere new, especially when you're coming to talk about potential issues that are very sensitive and you haven't sometimes spoken about before. So, we're aware of how difficult that can be.
Yeah.
But that as well is another thing that we do like to offer, is that although generally it's people coming to the groups, it is a big thing. It is a big thing, having the courage to come through that door and talk to us guys. So we always, every single one of us says, look, if you want to meet 15 minutes before, I'll show you around, I'll tell you what to expect. And if you want to just sit there and not say anything for your first 4, 5, 8 weeks, that's absolutely fine. It's just being amongst that you know, that empathic, is that the one? Empathic.
Trying to get the word out.
Is enough for some people, you know,
Yes.
and they don't really feel that ready at all. And you know, there's a couple of people we think of. We never say any names, of course, because the whole
Yeah,
thing's
of course.
confidential. As
Yes,
you know.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
of
but
course.
there's a couple of people that sometimes just sit and just take it all in and mull it over for 3
Brilliant.
weeks, and then when they're ready, give it a shot, and then the other guys are just there sitting, waiting to listen. It's pretty
It's
amazing.
also people that don't come knowing that there's something there if they may need it one day. You know, because there's people who see it who not everyone understands and gets mental health. Not everyone suffers with you know, mental health.
Yeah.
Everyone's got mental health, but some people day to day absolutely fine. But it's nice knowing that potentially if they needed to speak to someone, you know, people like us are here.
Yeah. Because obviously this is men talk, this is for men. What do you think are the main problems faced by men talking about their mental health? I mean, without obviously...
I would say firstly,
Yeah.
it's exactly what we've already alluded to.
Yes.
That thing about how men have been, you know, bred, if that's the right word, over the centuries to be the tough guy.
Cultured,
to be
isn't
the
it?
hunter-gatherer,
Yes.
look after the, you know. That's probably the biggest thing. But
biggest thing
once
faced.
people do get over that, we find a lot of people talk incredibly openly. And from, I think the thing that I particularly find very interesting is because it's all walks of life. That we get people that probably would never have crossed paths in their normal day-to-day lives. There'd be one that certainly won't go to a pub that one of the others would hang around
Yeah,
to.
Very diverse group.
Yeah,
different
have
people.
Yeah, we have people from the LGBT, you know, community that come, and that's
fantastic.
something where it's actually been a bit of a passion of mine to not do one, because we've had a couple of suggestions, haven't we? Should you maybe do an LGBT group? My view, it sounds great, but my view is also the fact that I think society has spent 50, 60, 70 years of not having people segregated. Why should we do it now?
Yeah.
If people feel more comfortable in their own group, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's just not really
We
for
want
us.
to bring
We're
people
men.
together.
We're men,
Exactly,
you know. Doesn't matter
exactly.
whether they're gay, straight, bi, whatever.
I think it's regardless of your views and who you feel like as a person, we're all human beings and we're all men.
Definitely.
We should all, regardless. But I like the fact that you guys really think about those ideas.
Oh,
you
always,
really
yeah,
think about it, and then you also didn't. It's great.
We meet regularly to talk about these kind of things, see how the groups are going, things that we should or shouldn't be doing, and how we can improve stuff. So
Feedback.
we regularly meet. Yeah, we take from feedback all the time. And going back to your original question about what blokes struggle with, I think sometimes it's, and certainly for me, and people I've spoken to over the years, it's easier sometimes to put these difficult things to talk about to one side, because you are going to dig up and unearth things that you haven't discussed for a long time, and that can be painful.
Yeah.
And it's easier sometimes to not talk about it, or so we think, but then that's going to come out in one shape or form, and it might be that you hide it between, away from other people through drink, drugs, or indulging in something that's not necessarily too
You've
healthy.
hit the nail on the head. I hear that a lot, and actually people on the podcast that have spoken previously said that they sometimes hide their mental health with drinking. They think they need to drink, and that then allows them to talk. But it doesn't always have to be that. And that's
It could be anything. It could be gambling. It could be so many. I mean, even with exercise, it could be that you're getting obsessive with something to try and hide what's really going on. And I'm not saying that anyone who goes and exercises or drinks has got a problem. Of course not. But there's some people that will hide behind that because they are trying to suppress what's really going on. Yeah, we see that
That's
quite
so
a bit.
interesting.
And on the note as well about being inclusive, I know there will be a lot of people probably who watch this and will say, well, what about women? And we're very, very aware that it's not just men who suffer with mental health. Of course not.
I wanted to touch on this actually.
Yeah.
I was really interested to
And
hear.
what to just sort of touch on that, we have had women's groups running with women running it. They haven't been as well attended or as successful for one reason or another.
Yeah.
But it is something that we've put out there, and we are very aware of that. It's not just men, but
Brilliant. Yeah.
with men, it is. Statistics will tell you.
I was just about to say that.
It's the single biggest killer. I think men under 40.
45, 40.
Yeah, in this country. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a massive problem, and I'm very aware that it is a massive problem for men and women.
I agree, though.
There are a lot of women that are the backbone of supporting a lot of these men as well, and they are experiencing, if they're not suffering mental health, they're supporting their men, you know, through mental health. So there's a lot of partners out there that are really, you know, without some of these partners, some of these men will fall to pieces. So they're going through it as well, even if they're not directly suffering themselves through their own mental health.
We've had... Sorry, we've had, you know, a few comments on Facebook, most of them very, very polite, but there will be the occasional one that will be a little bit of Facebook. Warriors, isn't it? We call them keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warriors,
which will sort of say, what about us women? You know?
Oh, yeah.
And I've always sent a very, very polite reply saying, well, A, I'm a fella, so it's probably not that appropriate that I should be running a women's group.
Exactly.
And B, you know, we're not blowing our own trumpets here, but this is all voluntary. You know, this is all voluntary. So a couple of nights a week for the men. But what I tend to do is say, look, we've got a format that works. Yeah. If you want to get in touch and you're interested in starting one and doing one, I'd happily sit with you and work with you, which normally comes about, oh no, I'm far too busy for that. So,
and unfortunately, it has broken down through no fault of our own. When unfortunately, you know, the women that have done this, it hasn't gone as we would have liked, or they would have liked, and it's just fallen flat. So it's not like we haven't tried, but we're very aware, and I think it's important to put that out there.
Yeah, the thing is as well, you know, with these sorts of organisations, is that we'd call yourself an organisation or?
We're actually a community interest company.
CIC. Yes.
So we're a non-profit organisation.
Brilliant. Yeah. That's handy to know for people, just knowing and stuff.
Yeah. And we're very reliant, obviously, on the community and stuff that we do for people. And there's been, you know, some extremely generous people, because we pay for this through the generosity of other people and doing events, football matches, like I know you've done as well. Yeah. And there's lots of events that we're going to be putting on as time goes on. Rowland's been really proactive with all these signs up here of people that support us financially monthly.
First thing I noticed,
every single one of these businesses, some of, I do find it a bit hard to keep track of now, I have to say, but a couple of them have done a little one-off donation, and there's quite a few that would do a little £30 a month standing order direct debit.
Wow, that's
and
so
it just
helpful.
adds up to enough, because you know the rent is a fair amount here. But by that regular, we give them a little bit of publicity here, mention them on our Facebook post, but also what it does is it gives them access, if you like, to, because a lot of companies now, of course, are being expected to show that they're looking after their employees' mental well-being, as well as like their first aid. So it means that they can say to anybody that is inspecting them, you know, what are you doing about your first aid? Oh, well, we were in conjunction with mental. So that's, we're always on the lookout for more of those, because then we can offer more. We cover our rent and our costs and our bills and things, but obviously I don't know whether you were going to get into it at some point, but we do actually do more formal counselling as well if it's needed, which obviously can't be completely free. We try our best to do it as low as we can.
Professionals,
a bit more of that. We've both CBT counsellors now. So we do actually offer more formal counselling as well, but it does have to involve a small cost for that, and this really helps with that.
I think it's important to.
I think because you're talking to one, sorry. That's right. Just in case, I think it can get you, bro. You're very soft spoken. It's great.
Okay.
It's really soothing. Actually, it's really good.
Counselling voice.
I don't know.
I see why you do it.
I think there's other words other than soothing.
I'm sure you'll think of one.
But I think it's important on that note of those that sponsor us and help us out to say a massive thank you to them as well if they're watching.
Absolutely.
Because without people's generosity, support, and even if they're not able to financially support us, sharing stuff, the nice comments,
everything,
the good words that they say about us, so thank you to everyone
there, and also not on there. There's so many people.
A couple of people have done a donation, then they're not expecting anything on the wall, they just do it for the right reason.
And to be honest, there's so many, I can't even shout them all out because there is so many.
It'd be a long list of hours.
But we are forever grateful, and we're not going anywhere, but obviously we do need that little bit of income to pay the rent, bills, and obviously to offer what, as Rowland said, low cost counselling that we do when people need it. And we would like eventually to take it a bit further, to do more of a business in terms of offering more one-to-ones. You know, we've both got other jobs. I'm a personal trainer.
Yeah, PT.
And Rowland's a trainer in first aid and first aid mental health himself as well.
You need a PT as well, by the way.
We've got some good skills between us.
Yeah, both.
So yeah, we're always on the lookout for help.
You took my next question straight out of my
doing
mouth.
that, don't I?
You do. You're really good at it, honestly. Because what I was literally going to say is, what is the future for you guys? And you've literally summed up perfectly that the first thing.
I mean, initially, really sustaining what we got, isn't it, and keeping that going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking after ourselves so we can continue doing what we're doing. I think moving forward, I'd like to do a bit more one-to-one CBT, and just that little bit of time where we can, even if it's not, formal counselling, but we can just be there for someone for half an hour, maybe. Not a crisis team, but if someone says, look, I'd like to pop in today for a chat, that we could do that.
You can do that.
So if someone, let's just say there was a lovely person out there and said, look, here's £1 million, that will cover you for God knows how many years. We would do that. That would be fantastic. And we could support so many different men, which would in turn impact on so many different families as well. So if there's any really rich people out there that want to,
please come.
I think also, Ryan, that you just mentioned it there, that I think when we very first started out, because I met Ryan probably actually 5 years ago in June. I've known you for.
Wow.
Just literally, I think, pandemic time, putting on a bit too much weight, looking for personal trainer. Imagine how fate sort of turns out. Found Ryan, and then and it was not long after you'd had, which you've quite openly spoken about your concerns. I had never really thought about, I had much of my mental health concerns, but a little thing happened in my personal life for a little while, which I won't go into, but which caused me to feel incredibly sort of depressed and low. And that was it. We realised there's this mutual, understanding of mental health issues. That's where it all started. And I think none of us, I think at the time, I think what's happened is it has progressed like in 5 years, 4 years, because none of us thought anything about it being a living. It's just something we wanted to do as volunteers, like the groups. But as things have developed, as people have sponsored us more, if I could, I'm not getting any younger, don't want to be carting my equipment for work. If I could have it as a paid job. People get paid for doing things like this. At the moment, that's never an issue. But if I could do that by being here, being
turn
based
it full time almost.
I think long term, if we could financially do it, we would.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, I think if I could do sort of half the week doing my personal training and keep my gym, half the week doing this, to be fair. I mean, you do experience this as well, don't you? With my work, I'll have people come in who obviously come in to do physical activity, but that obviously in turn helps your mental health, as we know. But some people will come in and it will be a therapy session, if you like. Anyway, some people will just come in and I can sometimes pick up, you're not doing so well, are you? You okay? We will have a cup of tea. I will just get on the exercise, but I can just talk.
Yes.
So transferable skills. Rowland will have people sometimes hang back after maybe one of his groups and come and say, look, I see you do mental, because Rowland's actually got tattoos on his arms of it, so that brings a lot of attention.
Can you show it to the camera? It's that one there. If you just
sorry, Rowland, if that.
Oh, what is that?
They are mental. You're not alone. There we are.
And that's our strap line. Is obviously you're not alone. So people see that, and then they will say, "What's that about?"
Round.
They kind of probably know. And then it just prompts a conversation about, well, actually, I've had some struggles. And
that is so incredible. It's really amazing that both of your other jobs actually do help with mental as well.
I guess so, yeah.
It does, it really does.
But the bulk of my work is, not too much at the moment, but the bulk of it is going off to a company and training their staff. But we also have other courses that we run in there where people come from different organisations. And my goodness me, the amount, I'm always running along there to Ryan, telling him all excitedly, oh my God, six blokes have just come in, they've all looked at the mental science and, oh my God, this happened to my nephew, this happened to my uncle, what a shame I didn't know about something like this. Just from like half a dozen guys coming in.
Yeah,
and there's
that's all it is.
4 that have had, and back to these, I half jokingly had them done. I was on holiday, and we had a leaflet, if I remember, from a few years ago that
It's going to be like that,
it was
wasn't
like
it?
that with two arms, mentally you're not alone. I don't know if we ever did anything with it in the end, but I was on holiday and some family members had their little holiday tattoo and they said, "Are you having one?" I went, "Yeah, I know what I'm having." So, of course, the very first question was everyone checking I wasn't drunk because in case I had a big tattoo done. But
Fantastic.
In that 2-week holiday, I have to say, it wasn't particularly what it was intended for. In that 2-week holiday, halfway through, like the middle part, I must have had, just walking along down the resort on the way to get a pint, 6, 8 people stop me and go, "Mate, I don't mind me asking, but what's that about on your arm?" And "Oh yeah, well my brother did this and my..." So it's just amazing.
Walking advert board for us.
That's what it is.
That's dedication. But I can't. If I do get bored of them, I can't see them.
That's incredible.
Oh, you know, aren't they?
What I thought you were going to say is that you got a tattoo done and then Ryan texted you and said, "All right, mate, I'm thinking about changing the name."
Actually, he's not
has come up.
wrong, is he? He's not completely wrong. That did happen, didn't it? A while ago. It was when we found we were getting often confused with this one at Sittingbourne, which, as we said, there's not an issue. They do their thing. Everyone's got the same aim, and that's fantastic.
I think it's important to highlight that because we haven't spoken about it on camera.
I was just about to say, do you want to
What, the men hyphen?
Yeah, go for it.
Or not even just with, because I don't want to give out like specific places, but maybe if you just said general, we don't want to be confused with general places, you know.
Yeah,
I think there's a few when I've gone online.
Yeah.
I think it is a relatively common name throughout.
Really?
There's a few others in the cut. I think I've used mentor, all one word, mentor groups, and which, you know, every single person is doing it for most amazing reasons and the right reason. We just differentiate between. And there's been a couple of times though, the reason we do specify it quite so much is not because we're mentor, it's because there have been one or two occasions where someone has actually been looking at trying to sort of fund us a little bit and support us, and they've got the wrong one.
There's so many different ones. That's really key.
One of the key reasons why we sort of want that.
So as we
sort
said,
of mentioned,
is as we said when I first started this podcast, I said exactly men-talk hyphen talk.
That's right.
.uk. I didn't want to expand that, Ryan, but you don't want to be confused with anyone.
No, and we do our thing and others do theirs. I think when I sort of created the name, I thought I was being really clever, and then like Rowland said, there's loads of it's quite a common one out there.
It's a clever name.
But yeah, we've got our format and how we do things. We think what we're doing is the best way for us, and other people would do in their groups will do their thing, and if they're all helping people, then superb.
Absolutely.
Generally, obviously, we're based on the Isle of Sheppey, so that's what we do. We do have people come further afield though sometimes, don't we?
I've got a couple of people often share it with like sort of Rainham community groups and things, because I've occasioned someone from that sort of distance who's, because of that embarrassment, if you like, it's a bit worried about bumping into someone that they know. But I've got to say, I must have had Sheppey's small place. Countless times where I'm showing someone round and making their coffee, and someone goes, "Oh, all right, I know you." I even had, I won't say who they were, of course, but I had 2 relatives turn up, didn't I?
Wow. And you don't even know.
And I wasn't expecting
I think going back to what we were talking about earlier about people coming in and feeling nervy or anything, that unfortunately, because the island, I know it's ever growing, but it is a small community really, that people do get worried about bumping into someone and wondering, what are you doing here? What's your problems? And then open up about stuff. Yeah. But Rowland's very good at the meetings and saying about confidentiality, unless someone is expressing a need to want to hurt themselves, where we have to record that and share it with the relevant authorities, it's confidential.
Yeah. 100% completely. Yeah. That's what it's about. You keep it. You can't say anything because it's such a small place, like you say. I bump it. I mean, I don't even live here anymore, but I kind of bump into someone. I come here once and I'm like, "Oh, you're all right." And talking about the island, I've seen the new signs. By the way, I saw the one. I actually came through to the island, and I can tell you by the train station.
Oh yeah, got a new one there.
Is there a couple more you've got as well?
Have you not spotted the one on scaffolding in
really
Peel Ports? There's one, a friend of mine from P&M Scaffolding, God bless him, Ollie Mills. His company have put the scaffolding up, and the roofing company they've put the scaffolding up for, which are called Inspire Roofing, I think they're called, which we're actually going to engage with as well. They're a massive company.
Brilliant.
Got a friend who knows the owner and blah, blah, blah. So we're going to be doing a chat with them as well. But there's one up in the scaffolding in Port. So again, it's about local companies, people, talking about what we do, getting us in. We've been to Ports and done a talk, and it's just getting us out there really, and
brilliant.
It's bringing other people together to talk about the same topic without having that fear of judgment.
Yeah, absolutely that. Talking about that as well with trying to get people in, I took quite a few business cards from you last time I saw you. I took a big wad. I was thinking, this will last me ages. I got, Ryan, you gave me so many, and I actually placed them in my podcast. I don't know if you've seen, but in my new studio on a table, I put them all there. So I actually promote you guys in my podcast.
I appreciate that.
Every episode. And one of my guests, this lady, she came on and she works in the NHS mental health team, etc. And she lives on the island, and she went to me and said, I didn't know there was a mentor. I was like, what? Which is why I guess you guys need to... But
I think that's the other thing. You kind of think... It's like with even my personal training. I've been doing that 8 years. I've been self-employed doing this now.
Yes. And
I think, everyone's going to know where I am and what I do, and they don't. And it's the same with mental.
I'm so surprised. And do you know what she did? She took them all, and she said, every single one she took, and she said, I'm going to hand this out because this is really important. She took the flyers, she took the business cards, said, I'm going to hand them out to everyone, because she's just sort of flying. Went, wow.
And that's why it's important doing things like we're doing now and talking about it, getting it out there, obviously wanting you to do well with your podcast, but also the reason why you're doing your podcast as well.
We've got a very, very similar mission in terms of the podcast is very similar to what you guys are doing in terms of trying to break the stigma surrounding mental health for everyone, men, women, everyone. And just trying to, I think the more we talk about it, the more we're open about things, it just helps. It just helps people talk about it more, I hope. That's why we do this anyway.
100%.
I never thought that 5 years ago I would be sitting somewhere talking about my mental health.
And how incredible.
And I've gone through my entire life with it not really ever being an issue.
Yeah.
And then...
Yes, you was coming to, some of the groups when I was doing them in the gym.
Yes.
And you was always saying, I know other people said, I feel like a bit of a fraud because I haven't got any mental health problems.
Yeah, that's right.
But you haven't, I've got a diagnosis, doesn't mean anything. That you can still come to the group because you're having a bad time with, I don't know, it might be work, it might be a relationship, you might just be feeling pretty crap and want to talk to someone. You haven't got to have a clear diagnosis of a mental health problem. And like you said earlier, we're not a crisis team. We're not able to deal with people who might be presenting with really serious psychiatric issues. And we know our limits, as we said earlier. But if you're struggling and you're just having a bad time through the loss of someone or work stressing you out, this is the place to come.
That's such a great point.
I think it's still very much a learning curve for us, isn't it? Because I know that in the earlier times of this, and probably to a certain extent now, there will be times where, although we stress, we are not a crisis team, we're not the Samaritans, we're here, but we're also human beings. And if I see, we've got a WhatsApp group that the guys, if they want to, they can just drop a message in there late one night, feeling a bit down, anyone about for a quick chat, and there'll be half a dozen guys.
Fantastic.
Yes, mate, do you want to come for a walk? So there's that. But occasionally someone might put, that's it, I've had enough. Can't stand it anymore. And obviously the alarm bell's going off. And it's quite upsetting. So we do say, please, 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 we're not a crisis team.
Exactly.
We have to protect ourselves.
I mean, you do try your utmost. I mean, I've seen a lot of posts. Don't embarrass you, but I see a lot of posts that you've done where maybe some people go missing or you don't hear from someone. And I see you post on Facebook saying, "I'm going to do a drive around after work." I think that's so amazing. Like how you put yourself out there.
Yeah, we do. We try. Yeah, we try and sometimes you just can't help yourself, can you? But we've got to do these things. So, but equally, we need to protect ourselves and what we do and know our limits because we have got lives. And sometimes people might find that a little bit strange because we can't be there for everyone.
You need that.
What we can do, we've got to have some structure and there is a time and a place where we can say, look, come on. But again, if we was doing this full time, we would be out there a bit more.
Yeah. So perhaps in the future there could be that, but for the moment there is that sort of we're a support. You guys are a support group, and there is that sort of if you need that help.
And Samaritans, you know, you've only got to tap their number into your their name into your phone, and their number will come up. Off the top of my head, I can't remember their number.
No,
really
I should. To be honest with you, even I should have seen it a few times. It's like a 6-digit or something.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and that's really bad of me. But we do have it on our signs. We've got signs on many bridges around Swale that myself and Rowland and others have put out. Yeah, just saying, you know, call Samaritans, and we're also here to listen in our weekly groups.
You've got Shout as well. I don't know if you guys have heard of Shout, the crisis text Shout.
Yeah,
you got that.
There's loads out there, and use them definitely.
Absolutely. But exciting for Men Talk, and you know, in the future, who knows what could happen? It's really sustaining it.
Like Rowland said, he didn't think that he'd be sitting there doing what we're doing now. So who knows what will happen in the future?
It's fantastic.
A little while ago, I had a phase where I've meant to cut back a little bit on what I'm working. So I was deciding that I wouldn't work on a Monday, but I'd do a bit of paperwork from here. So I was thought, well, it's not a group, but I'll just plaster it over Facebook. Yeah. By the way, folks, I'm going to be there 10 till 3. Anyone wants to drop in, just say hello, have a look round, have a cup of tea, and find out acres and supporters. And there was quite a few people would just drop in, wouldn't they, on those days. So that's why, in an ideal world, but if I had to say an absolutely, I'd love to be based here, full time, permanently open, all done up. You know, that, like I say, when we get that £1 million donation from that
lottery win,
that's what. But I think what sets us apart, bigging ourselves up a bit.
No, absolutely.
I think what sets us apart is the fact that there is no. I won't say there's no structure. There's got to be an element of structure, but I think a lot of people, when they come, they expect it to be like one of these meetings where you're expected to stand up.
It's very professional.
And introduce yourself, and I'm this, or I've got this issue, or whatever. With us, it's, you know what, mate? You had a shit week.
It sounds very...
Do you want to have a game of darts? You know, while the others are talking. You know,
everyone's got the opportunity to check in how their week's been, and if they want to elaborate further, again, most of the people that have been there as the group get to know what's going on for one another. And like I said earlier, those new ones that come in, people have learned that they might not want to talk, but they might also need a bit of extra time to elaborate on what's going on for them.
It's so good. It feels a very, like I said, casual almost, but a really just welcoming family almost. It feels like a big family.
I think that's what everyone refers to as. Actually, that term comes up. They call it on the little groups. You see it. You know, I can't believe I'm part of my Men Talk. It's usually after about midnight. I think someone's had a couple of wines. It's usually me, my Men Talk family. But you sort of see it a little bit on there. But they do often refer to it as their Men Talk family. And when someone is feeling really low, you know, I've got no one. Someone will jump in with a little text. Don't be daft. You've got us guys here, and you know, when people do think. And I've actually had one person. It was a long time ago, who came here to one of our groups, and I won't use the word that he used to describe it because it was a bit obscene, but in a nice way.
It's too obscene.
He came to one of our groups a long time ago. I don't know
where he's going with it.
I'm not actually even certain if I've ever told you this, Ryan, to be fair.
Oh, this makes me even more scared.
No, he came along, sat with the group, nice, all fine, didn't really sort of say an awful lot. And he went off. It was a while ago now. And then as he went, oh, thanks, mate. And he said, you won't be seeing me again. And to which I was like, oh, I'm really sorry if we offended you. Was you made to feel uncomfortable? Yeah. And he went, no, absolutely, quite the opposite. He goes, this is the very first time that I've realised, I know it's really corny because it's our tagline. Yeah. This is the very first time I realised that I'm not the only something going through this.
Wow.
And so all he needed was that one visit, because you do feel so alone. And then once he'd established that was all the support he needed.
And that's what I was saying earlier about people knowing that at least we're here if there is someone to want someone to come and talk to just on that occasion.
Was we taking offence when he said you won't be seeing me again?
Yeah.
Thinking,
I get a bit worried about that as well.
But
like, is that
it was for the right reasons?
For the right reasons,
But we also say that ourselves when we've had the odd group where there might have been a bit of a cold, dark night, and 4 people are here.
Yeah.
You know, we used to think, oh, it's not a very good group. We've only got 4, blah, blah, blah. But that was our old way of thinking. We weren't on commission.
It's not about numbers.
We did a little count up, didn't we, a while ago? I can't remember what the amount of people that had come through the door at some point. remember thinking, right, we've got 4 guys in now, but there's 196 people sitting at home knowing that we're here if they need it. And that is as important as having 10 people in the room.
I was going to say that knowing that this service is available for people is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And we've had, and I think, we kind of discussed this before we started, that we can't put a number on people that we may have helped or saved because we don't know. No one knows.
Exactly that.
But we can give examples. And I think Ben, God bless him, which I'll go on to in a minute, was one of our directors. I think he was at one of our events somewhere, and or was it you? I think it was Ben. But someone come up and gave us like, I don't know, 10 or 20 quid because we was raising some money, and said, "You don't know me, but you helped save my partner."
That's right.
It was Ben, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Don't know who it was to this day, but when there's been a couple of incidents like that, we would never put a figure on. Well, we've saved this person, that person. We can't do that. So little things like that make it all worth it, and like the story that Rowland just said, it makes it all worth it.
It's those things that really make you think this is a really great thing we do.
100%. And if you can help, it's not about saving, but if you can help one person, you're doing a good job. And going on to Ben, who I've just mentioned, was one of our directors.
Yes.
He unfortunately he did take his own life 6-7 months ago.
August time, wasn't it?
Yeah, which I won't go into too much, but he was very missed, and again, it's that was his choice at that time.
Yeah,
we've questioned ourselves a little bit. Surely we should have been able to save him.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't. Sometimes when that decision's made, it's made. But I won't. I'm not going to elaborate on it too much because of saying that. People watching that might not want to hear about it. But he's very sorely missed. But we know that we were always there, and we are there to listen to people if they want it. But we can't. We're not God.
No. But you've done your utmost as a Men Talk family to try and help people. Yeah, it's a both sides, isn't it? You've said you've really just touched on both sides, and the fact is, you guys are doing what you feel is right at the time, and you're helping, and
then it makes it even it hits home even more that how serious it is out there with people taking their lives. It really brings it home. 100%, and it makes us just more determined to be there.
Yeah.
That's very much what happened with Ben, wasn't it? There was, as you just said, Ryan, there was that little bit of, oh my God, we can't even save our own fella, It
felt like we fouled a bit.
What's the point of this? We fouled. This is the guy who, instrumental with him and his business, come and helped us fit this place out, put little walls up, little doors and things. So really, really crucial to the part of it. But then sadly, he made that decision, and it did make us think, my God, what's the point? But then I think we had, quite a few quite emotional chats about it, and come to the conclusion, well, no, what that's actually got to do is make us redouble our efforts rather than think, give up because we couldn't save him.
And something that he did leave us in a note was saying, how important Men Talk is, and how much he loved it as much as he loved us. And again, that really was a difficult thing to read, which was only recently. But makes it even more of a passion for us to continue.
It really gives you that fuel to really crack on with it.
100%.
It's not just talking that subject. It's similar to why I do this podcast with my brother.
Exactly.
I wish I don't know if Connor knew about this. I don't know if he knew about Men Talk. I mean, you've been going since 2016. Am I right with that?
No.
Is it later than that?
Later, yeah, much later than that. Because
that was a big guess, by the way. I found the question.
Unofficially, little meetings at your gym, probably sort of 4 years ago.
Yeah. Really? So it was just around COVID, was it? When you met Rowland, was it?
Yeah.
I failed a quiz, guys. I had one question. I messed
this
up.
has actually been here. We'd have had this place. I think it's 2 years in August, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah, you're right.
2 years. We've opened from the gym.
Yeah. But what I was going to say, I wish that you guys were here when my brother was here, and that just because I really do feel like what you guys have got going will help people that feel like that, and it's just I'm distraught. Connor's gone, but I'm so happy that you two are here. You know, I'm doing this podcast, but I'm really glad that this is here on the island now, because we lived on the island at the time, and I'm just so happy and so fortunate that you guys are here and have built this up, because it will help people, as you said.
And I guess it's really good as well that there's I'm not going to drop any names, but there are families out there that have lost. One in family in particular lost a son, and they have, they've supported us and some really kind words, and when they've been able to sort of supported us financially and just really supportive. And there's always that, what if, and if there was something like this there, and would it help? You don't know, do you? You can't answer that, but at least we are here now, and people like you are talking about it. Rowland's doing his thing.
We all are,
and that's what's important. Keep talking about it. We should not be ashamed to talk about, when people are suicidal, feeling like they don't want to be here anymore, feeling like life isn't worth living. It doesn't need to be a subject that needs to be brushed under the carpet. We need to talk about it openly. But equally, we need to try and help ourselves.
Look after ourselves as well.
We need to go out and find what's out there. We need to get our backside in gear and go, right, I'm going to go and talk to my mate. I'm going to go and talk to my brother. I'm going to go and talk to mentor. Go to the doctor. Ring the crisis team. Contact Samaritans. Not I know people will probably hear that and go, well, no, I've been to the doctor, they're crap. Sometimes you have to go over a few hurdles to get there. I've done it. And I thought, what a load of crap this was. But
you kept on.
I've got to go, keep going, because I want to keep going, for me, for my daughters, and ultimately because I want to be here.
Yeah. It's what I've been most impressed with, actually. It's right at the start of this episode that we're recording, is how open you both are. It just struck me straight away that you just started saying about
some
things.
people struggle with that, because I'm very open on the videos I do on my page. If anyone wants to give us a follow on our mental page
on Facebook.
On Facebook. We've got a website as well where people can email us as well. Which is obviously men-talk.uk.
That's it.
And I'm very open. Some people struggle with that a little bit because well, I say some people struggle with it. I think a lot of people are quite surprised by it. But I'm hoping that can just brush off on people. That someone who's, I've done a bit of boxing, I'm a personal trainer, I've done certain things that people will look at as quite masculine stuff to do. I'm not afraid to cry and talk about my emotions and feelings.
And that is so good to get that, because people will think in this day and age, try and judge the book literally by its cover. They go, you're boxer, like you say, PT, I'm a man. But it's...
Look at men, in the military, SAS, for example, and they come out, PTSD, lots of suicide from those who've been serving in the forces. The toughest men out there, but unfortunately, suffering badly and taking their own lives. They've seen horrendous stuff. I mean, I'll throw it in there. I mean, in 2016, you mentioned, I was on SAS Who Dares Win.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
And I cried at that because I was bloody useless. I couldn't wait to get out. I was bloody terrible.
Ironic I said 2016. Maybe when you would have wanted to start this.
Oh, God. I was like, Jesus, what have I let myself in for?
Wow.
Because
I don't know anything about your history either. I mean, I don't know if you wanted to talk a bit more mental, or wanted to go more into your lives. It'll be really interesting to hear about your background. So you did that?
That was 2016. Wow. It's not much to talk about because I was not there too long.
No, you realise pretty soon.
I was in a foreign country. I was in Ecuador.
Wow.
I was one of 20.
I didn't actually know that. First time I realised that. I thought you were someplace up in Essex or something.
No, I was in Ecuador.
Wow.
Oh, I genuinely
blimey.
know that.
Oh my God, there you go.
I was one of 25 blokes out there in 2016. And I'm still friends with one of the blokes from the show who has set his own charity up called Strong Men, which helps men who suffer with bereavement, who have lost people. His name's Ephraim. Look him up. And I'm actually doing a half marathon in 4 weeks' time, I think it is, the London Landmarks, to raise money for his charity. So we meet up regularly, we see each other a lot, and that was from the show. And the reason he set that up was because he lost his son in Afghanistan through friendly fire, unfortunately. So he's obviously, suffered and still does in terms of that bereavement, losing his son.
What an amazing thing he's doing.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant, and that's why I'm running for him, and we often meet up. I drive up to East Grinstead. We kind of meet halfway because he's up further away, obviously, from us, and we met, have a coffee and talk about stuff.
Wow.
Which is great. Yeah, and from that, I mean, I quit, and I don't like quitting. So from that show, one thing that taught me was don't quit, don't give up, and hence probably why I'm still here today as well.
Wow, yes.
I did shit out there and regret it. It's taught me a lot. So, but yeah, I was in Ecuador.
Ecuador.
Series 2 it was in Ecuador.
Wow.
And I was still out there for quite a while because you can't just get out and they fly you back.
No, you got to get
still out there for quite a while. But
wow.
Prior to that, my background is social work. So I wasn't a qualified social worker, but I was doing a social worker's role in different settings. Worked with young offenders, worked in lots of prisons, children and families teams. Family group conferencing was my last role. 14 years in that, So again, that was another reason why, transferable skills.
Hugely transferable.
But that got to a point where saw a lot, heard a lot, and wanted to do something I was more passionate about because I kind of lost interest due to the bureaucracy,
bloody hell,
all the crap that goes on with that, working for local authority. And then 8 years ago this month I started doing personal training.
Wow. And then personal training
and then into this. So that's a bit of me, a bit of my background.
Well, I'll ask you a deep question. I'm going to say, do you regret anything you've done before Men Talk? Do you regret it at all? Anything?
In terms of job choices?
Yeah, in terms of job choices, I certainly
don't know, not at all.
Because I feel like it's everything that you've done and you've learned those lessons from 100%. Leaving things. You say, I can't quit anymore.
Yeah, I believe I'm not sure things are panned out in front of you already, but things do happen for a reason.
Agreed.
You meet people for specific reasons, whether it's a good or bad thing. Sometimes at the time you don't realise it, whether that's in a personal relationship, friendship, whatever it is. I think people come into your life to show you something, teach you something.
Yes.
Whether it's good or bad. Same with experiences.
Yeah.
They're there for a reason. Might not always be the best outcome, but you learn from it, and that should hopefully guide you into a better future.
That's exactly what you.
God, that sounded good, didn't it?
That sounded
Jesus Christ!
Put it as a little reel on Instagram.
Deep and meaningful.
I'll clip that.
But it's true, and it's I've had to do a lot of soul searching. I've had to dig deep a lot of times, emotionally, as well as physically, because I do train hard, and
you do,
I'm approaching 50, and that helps me feel good physically.
He goes for the roof now.
I feel 60 at the moment. I've got an injury at the moment, so I feel 60. I'm not about approaching 50.
That's impressive.
But in turn, that again, as we know, when you train, releasing those endorphins makes you feel good. Rowland will know that as well when he's done his training, which he does regularly. And,
brilliant.
Yeah,
fantastic. Rowland, I was going to ask a bit about you if you want to. I mean, obviously, it's completely up to you how much you want to talk about.
No,
but
absolutely,
so a bit about you, because I don't know you at all, really.
No, so in my younger days, I actually was in the sort of catering profession. I'm a chef actually by trade, so a real change of career for me. And then the job I'm doing now came about because I changed professions into the care profession, supporting mostly young adults with learning disability, autistic spectrum, ADHD, that sort of thing. And then the company that I used to work for, I don't know whether you'd be familiar with this, but when you work in health and social care, there's lots of core subjects that the support workers have to have, whether that's first aid, food hygiene, manual handling, safeguarding, all those.
Makes sense,
So I was part of a team. I was part of a company's in-house training team. But then I got made redundant in 2008, and so set up my own very small little training business, Kent Training Services, based on the island. So that's me.
You're based here.
Based here, of course. That's right.
Not even on the island. I think you're next door, actually.
Always from home. And then, not say I did have a little office in Queen, but then been here now for nearly a couple of years, and it's wonderful because it just means that every single bit of my life is all intertwined now. Because, and I've actually got to say, if I'm having nights, Ryan will know this, but sometimes he might be finishing up his gym in there, and it could be, I don't know, 8 o'clock one evening, and I'm in there. And because if I am feeling a little bit low, this is what, and all the guys tell me, this is my happy space.
Yeah.
It's my happy space.
What a place,
so I almost think of a reason to come down here that links in with my work. I think, I've got to do a bit of paperwork on my computer. I've got to print this off, got to do that. So I'm just sat in my happy space for half hour and I'm fine again. So it really is weird the way the whole thing has sort of linked up for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just to really, sorry, just break up. If we want to say this, when you showed me around here for the first time, Ryan, it was the end of last year at some point. I was just in awe. I mean, the couple of units you've got are fantastic.
I mean, it is, at the end of the day, it is just a unit, but we've made it into feeling something a bit better than just a space.
Yeah.
And like we said earlier on, people come here and say they feel comfortable. We've got a kitchen area upstairs, obviously toilets here.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
It's fantastic.
And I personally don't ever want it to stop. It doesn't need to get any bigger. But what I would say is, maybe again going back again about what we see the future as well. I've had a few inquiries about people wanting to do what we do in other areas, so potentially expanding. There's one bloke actually just the other day I spoke to you about who wants to do it in a different area. So I'm going to potentially look at, well, why not? Obviously it means us managing that a bit more time for us to manage and to make sure it's all running well. But again, maybe with a business plan, there could be a future to expand it throughout. Because I think there's one that's really big. Is it Andy's Man Club?
That's right. Yeah,
quite a massive one.
I should have heard of it.
Yeah, it's big. It is big. Yeah.
Wow.
But some, again, not trying to be in competition with anyone, but the more out there, the better.
Exactly
like we were saying earlier.
Yeah. You could have two very similar organisations next to each other, but there might be one that people just feel more
100%
more to. They see the faces of you guys.
Same with personal training. I'm not everyone's cup of tea as a personal trainer, and there's lots of other good personal trainers out there. Same with Rowland as a chef. They might go to a certain restaurant because they like that person's food.
No, they never would.
I think it's important to
try
mention
my cooking
as well about your Rowland's Bistro. Still got the name.
Well, I mentioned
talking about that.
Yeah, because I saw it on there and went, "Oh, you've got your own bistro." Like, what's that about?
That was part of the. I mean, he's not even local, so God bless him. It is really kind of him for his £30 a month. He's in Gillingham, so he's not going to really be knowing anyone that's going to access it.
No.
Because of the sort of friendship thing, just because it's something that's close to my heart. I said, I'll do £30 a month sort of for it. Part of those things where people are giving us. Some companies have actually given us two. They've got like two organisations under one, like the bloke along there.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, and then others have just given us little one-off. But
is it worth reading them out? Maybe. How's that going?
You can do, but read them out because it won't take a minute.
If you're sure, so
go for it because we should. Right. But we should say to people.
Marine Industrial Transmissions. They're in Queenborough.
Yes.
I'm not sure exactly what they do, but I'm sure someone will
For funny enough, my stepdad works for them. My stepdad works for them, yeah.
So Pillport's, of course, local to us. BH, that's Brett, isn't it?
BH Drilling Services.
Drilling Services.
That's Brett, yeah.
Local pest control company, Harris.
Yes.
Pest control.
Pillports, I think you said already, yeah.
Sharp Craft, welding and fabrication specialist, which is Steve.
Brilliant.
One of our chaps that supports us has got a local hairdresser's cutting closet in Halfway.
Yeah.
That's a guy called Ian. And then, of course, the Rowland's Bistro.
Who's that?
Framing's company there. It's part of that, isn't it, Ryan? Is it Sharpcraft and that?
Yeah.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Intertwined.
And then this is...
Neptune Sports Lounge as well.
That's on too, yeah, Neptune.
And they do ongoing stuff. They often say, Rowdy, we're doing a little sports raffle. We've got 50 quiz for you or something.
Yeah.
This is someone that's got a local property rental development.
Abbeyview Properties.
They just did a little one-off
Meadowview
for us, if I remember.
Yeah. I can't read one of it.
And then we've got Tim at Burnout Welding, who's just regularly. Faircloths is the same. They're a construction company that I do the first aid for them.
Yeah.
So once they were in, I was nagging.
Wow.
And they made us a little one-off donation for the year, which is great. Taper surfaces.
Yeah, I know he's sitting ball.
Floor and everything. And of course, Southern Commercials, very supportive.
Southern Commercials?
That's the ones we used to.
That's where the sign is. That's them there. So they've kindly let us put our banner there.
That's incredible.
Very
yes.
Each month.
I do know.
And often, I mean, when someone tore that banner down, the first thing they did was jumped in and said they would paid for a new one.
Wow.
You might want to sit down now, mate, because all we've seen is your side.
And
yeah,
don't worry about that mic as well, because I'll switch to the iPhone mic for when Rowland's got a cup in one hand. And
also there's others that are not up there, like Rowland said earlier, that help us.
So many. And you put it on Facebook quite a lot. I see you do shout them out, and you do. I think it was that event I came to with the raffle and down at the cop. You put a massive post out. Thanks to went to see more. I had to click see more to.
Well, every month or so, or a couple of months, I've got the list of all of these people plus the ones that aren't on here.
Yeah.
I do my little shout out on Facebook. This is just to say, okay, thank you for, and I always feel I put. Please forgive me if I forgot. I'm pretty sure I'm good at logging it. Who's doing? But I wouldn't want someone to be. Oh, he hasn't mentioned me. But I don't think anyone thinks. But I said, please, if I haven't mentioned you, please just say, and I'll make sure I'm putting it on the next one.
It then.
I think I've got it.
Yeah.
Like I said, some of them are one-offs, and some of them are
so good. It is brilliant. I mean, I could just I'd love to just live it. I mean, you got the gym next door, and then you got this.
Yeah, we've got it all together.
It's fantastic.
I was telling you the other day, wasn't I, Ryan, that a friend of mine that's been coming in and helping me with my training in there, I'd come back here for one night. We were doing something, and they had the lamps on, and it was nice, and I was showing him the counselling room, because that separate little counselling room, and it's all cozy. And he went, God, you should be bloody proud of yourselves, what you guys have done.
Yeah,
it's just an industrial unit. Tucks up a little side street somewhere.
Look
what you've created. And I think
sometimes you take a step back to really just take it in.
Sometimes you don't get a chance to, though, do you, until someone does bring it to your attention.
Just tunnel vision.
And again, Rowland said earlier, we don't do it for praise, but when people do acknowledge it, it's like, actually,
if that's nice, just
we should do that to people more as well.
Yeah.
Because life's so busy. It's 100 mile an hour. Everyone's trying to work. Well, they are working hard and trying to pay the bills. Life's pretty out there at the moment, with
especially nowadays.
One thing and another, which that's another topic of conversation. So I won't get into the politics. But a lot of us are struggling, and again, that does impact on people's mental health. People are struggling to pay their bills, and people are struggling with what is going on. Some people are a little bit ignorant to what's going on out there, and my hat goes off to them, because that's not a bad thing sometimes. No, but us who pay maybe sometimes a lot of attention or too much attention to it can be really impacted by that. Especially when you see false news on social media, which we know is a big contributor to people's negative mental health.
Yes.
But again, it's how we manage that. It's how we deal with the information that's in front of us, whether we take it as gospel or not. And again, it's there in front of us. We don't have to access that if we don't want to.
That's a really good thing to mention, actually, in terms of mental health and what affects us. The media exposure, whether it's newspaper, Facebook,
huge.
Any news,
it's huge. Not just politics, especially with Instagram as well. The body image side of things. When you're looking at these people and you're like, why haven't I got a body like that? And let me tell you, there's a lot of people out there in great shape.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people out there as well that they might be in great shape, but they've all got their stuff going on.
Yeah.
They've all got their issues, their problems, their illnesses.
Yeah.
With
your PT work, we actually, it's really, really quite ironic. In most podcast episodes we do, body dysmorphia comes up about 5 times out of 10. Yeah. I don't know how, but it's because it's such a pivotal and important thing.
Huge.
I'm guessing as a qualified PT, you must get that from people that all the time,
and people who won't even look in the mirror. I've got mirrors in the gym, and people don't want to face that mirror sometimes, which is sad to see. But I understand that some people don't like what they see, and looking back at them, it's horrible, and people live with that. And some of these people that are out there and who appear body beautiful, and some people have got absolutely gorgeous bodies when they're out there and they've got their 1 million followers. But it doesn't mean they haven't got their problems. It doesn't mean they don't get low. It doesn't mean they might be minted financially. Doesn't mean they don't have their issues and their down days, and their children, getting ill or growing up and then worrying about them. All kinds of things.
So many stuff.
So don't get, if you can help it, get too caught up on what you see on social media, because most of it is bullshit anyway.
Yeah. Completely.
Smoke and mirrors.
And you're very much of that view along at the gym. I'm pointing at that wall there because I'm assuming that he knows where I'm pointing to along at your gym. So, you always said to me, "Oh, I only lost a pound this week." Doesn't matter. You're doing a bit of exercise. You're keeping things ticking over. You're keeping things all right. That's the main thing. It's not about weight. It's not about this. And you're just generally a bit healthier than maybe I used to be. And I'm sure that's the same. You've got those groups of ladies that come in that might still weigh the same as they did 3 or 4 years ago, but sort of toned and healthier looking, aren't they? And that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that we do a lot of is sometimes people will just come in just to relieve a bit of stress from through an hour's training.
Yeah, completely.
They're not on a mission to go and lose 2 stone in a certain amount of time. Some people just want to relieve some stress. Want to exercise. It makes them feel better. They're doing something, and that's kind of what we do in the gym. And again, totally understand that given what you do for people's mental health.
100%. Yeah. I was going to say as well, just one of thoughts in my head. Sorry, we're going to kind of change topic slightly. But as part of the podcast, not only is it we've got 2 main aims of the podcast. The first one is what we've done a lot today, is obviously talking about mental health, breaking the stigma. The second goal that we try to do as well is to try and discuss coping mechanisms. In terms of, is there anything that you guys have learned with your experiences as a mentor, or just even with mentor.uk, or even beforehand in your personal lives, just to help people out there, because we want to try to help people trying to take control of their lives. And if there's things that you guys have learned by talking to people in your experiences, anything to help the viewers really to
if I had to explain probably my biggest coping mechanism, ironically, it actually makes me, once I'm not bigging myself up here, I actually get an awful lot out of running the groups.
No, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
That's a good one to say, actually.
And people often go, "Oh, Rowland, it's so kind of you giving up your evenings." So I go, "No," because I have no problem with mentioning to anyone that I like a bit of alcohol, perhaps a little bit more than I should do. and I often use the thing, no, by you guys keeping me here till 10 o'clock on a Friday night, there's only so much wine even I can get down before midnight. So, I would say my coping mechanism is very much being involved in this.
Doing good work. Doing good work for yourself.
Isn't it, when you're helping others?
Yeah. That's a good thing. So. That's a really good message for people. Because people might go and say, you know what? Sometimes when you do good work and you're doing things that align with your soul, that can help you mental health.
100%.
Doing, I'm going to embarrass you again, sorry. I remember, I've just got like an encyclopedia of just posts now. I just remembered off the off. Like, I remember you posted, Ryan, a few months ago
about
millions. About you literally said, I don't know if it's enough, but a post about Rowland, and you were just like, I'm so impressed with him. He does all this stuff.
I did see that.
I think you were having a coffee with him. You just took a picture of him.
That's right. That was a few weeks ago.
I saw it and I was like, wow, that's such a nice thing. And I think you mentioned, do you do stuff with the food banks? Is that was it?
Oh God, that was another life.
This is another thing.
But it sort of started.
I don't remember all of this.
Towards the end of the pandemic was sort of getting over it, and I've been a little bit unwell, so I had a fair bit of time spare at home. Let's put it like that. And I love cooking.
Of course.
Hate waste. It's my big passion in life. Can't bear to see food waste or anything.
Agreed.
In my particular street, there's a couple of elderly people that might live on their own. But the thought of someone putting a bit of homemade soup around would go down a treat. And it just sort of escalated a bit, didn't it?
And you just realised, well, I don't want to waste stuff. I can provide.
Well, in the end, I was working with Queenborough Food Bank and Cheddar's Food Bank, and I was saying,
"Oh my God,
what you got that's left?"
Yeah.
And people say, "What's the soup going to be?" I go, "I don't know yet. I've got to wait and see." Right, you've got some parsnips. Right, okay. Someone outside my house, people would leave, because you've got quite a lot, they would leave me little bags of spices and stock cubes and herbs. And what's the soup? I really don't know yet. Hang on a minute. It's going to be parsnip and cream and coriander. Well, that sounds nice. Well, I don't know if it's going to be nice, but that's what you're getting.
But you would literally get all these food that's going to waste. You'd put it all together and make
big giant pots of soup. And people would sometimes, if they had a neighbour that was nearby them in my area, they would just knock on the door and pick up a couple. But there'd be a couple of people that would say, I know it's a bit of a cheat, but we know this lady, she's like 102 and she lives in Minster.
Yeah.
I'm going up that way tomorrow. I'll pop her some in. So, Superman, I was called.
Good on him, mate.
It's quite, but then I was doing that, and I did it like for almost a couple of winters, but then I had a bit of a diagnosis that meant I had to just ease back on things a little bit, and that's the thing about myself, as we're always saying with the whole mental health thing. Got to look after yourself, got to put your own mask on and all the rest of it. That's what we say.
That's what they say, yeah.
So I've not been able to do it this winter much, which is a shame.
But you've done it. But that's really, I'm guessing, helped your mental health, that you've been doing good work.
Oh, definitely.
Good work. And you're helping people.
Bit sick of soup, I have to say. living off of soup. But literally, it was only a tiny little domestic kitchen with, and then people the same as with mental. They'll go, oh, I've got a big giant pot in my shed that I don't need. So I've got enough catering pots that if I decide to start a restaurant one of these days,
who knows where your next venture.
Back to it.
There you go.
That is just fantastic.
Yeah, that was some unusual. I can't believe you've seen saw that on there, actually.
It's really odd. I've just got a weird brain that I just remember things. It's just talking to you two. Just popped in my head. I was like, I've just remembered that all of a sudden. But honestly, it's when you start talking about your chef. I was like, ooh, food. There you go. Transferable skills, you said.
Exactly that. One of mine's obvious, really, isn't it? I'll give you 3 guesses. That's exercise, obviously. That can be anything from going for a run, walk, and changing them walks up to, so there's nice scenery.
Yeah.
And it's, it's free. You haven't got to go to a gym to exercise. You can go and do that anywhere.
You could just get out your front door and just
And I think a lot of people were doing that during lockdown, and everyone was going. It's quite a big thing. And I think people probably have slowed down on that a little bit, but I think people should get back to that because it was making people feel good.
Agreed, completely.
Other than that, for me, it is being open and not having that fear of judgment, because I know that most people will be understanding about mental health. They might not get it. Some people might be frightened of it in terms of, well, what do I do with this information?
Yeah.
But for me, being open and not worrying about the judgment, and that's easy to say, well, I'm going to worry about it. But if you can maybe start writing these things down and put him, and actually don't do it on your phone.
That's a good idea.
One thing that I always tell people to do, even if they're doing food diaries for personal training, or if they're in a CBT session, is actually handwrite, because it's more personal rather than writing it on your phone.
Yes.
But make it personal. So write down, what it is you want to get off your chest and talk about. But handwrite.
That's so interesting.
Doesn't matter if anyone can read your writing, it's for you.
Yeah.
Write things down. Don't just put it on your phone, because we're all, everything's digital nowadays. But make it personal. 100%. Make it personal. Write it down as long as it makes sense to you.
That's brilliant. Yeah. That is huge for it. I'd say exercise is massive. I'd say. Yeah, especially because I know you do everything you do, like I'm probably like weights training and stuff. But for me personally, where I use a gym, I run and I also go to the gym. But I find for my mental health, cardio helps more. I don't know whether it's the chemical release.
Yeah, it's same after running. You feel, running's hard.
Oh, it is hard. Don't get me wrong.
But you feel like, for me personally, when I've done running, I do come back and I feel absolutely fantastic within about half an hour. Yeah,
which I hope you're doing a lot of at the moment with the London
Well, I'm injured at the moment, so I'm not doing loads.
Oh, no,
but I'm sort of recovering at the moment. But that's the running does make you feel good.
Yeah.
But again, you can go out and walk. You'll burn similar calories walking as you would running. So don't put it off. And if you want to increase the intensity, you can put a weighted jacket on, carry a heavy bag.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Use steps and whatever else is around.
Funny enough, I'll just say this because me and my friend, who's also a PT, actually, funny enough, he started his own little PT business, but he does a Saturday morning hike every Saturday morning at 6. So it's all about discipline with him. He's all about discipline and accountability. So every Saturday morning at 6 a.m, I meet him at this place. It's usually in Faversham, because he lives in Faversham, and we walk around, see the sunrise, and it's so good. And he says, he's not massive in his cardio, but hiking's great for you. You're weighted back.
Very popular, especially obviously in this country, and there's loads of places I want to go and see. Scotland, Wales.
Oh wow!
Some Lake District, places I've not been to, which is ridiculous, and I am going to do that this year. I'm going to take myself down there and go for some walks and
Fantastic.
See a little bit of that.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Good for the soul.
Absolutely. And that's what we should all be doing. We should be looking after ourselves more than anything.
Wow, Snowdonia and that.
Yeah.
Oh,
The other thing as well I like to do, and it's a lead on to something else, challenges. So like I do, obviously done the SAS thing.
Yeah.
There's a thing called High Rocks, which I've done a few of, which is a fitness.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. It's a massive fitness event, multidisciplinary fitness event throughout the world now. And I've got a thing I'm going to do for mental, which will pop in there and plug now.
Ooh.
So for next year, I mean, I've planned it, I haven't done it yet, obviously, but for next year, I've got a friend of mine doing a poster now for it. So I'm gonna on a particular date. I think I've set the date already, and I think I'll get it out there soon. It's around May time next year. So I'm going to do a marathon, and this is like, so it's obviously 26.2 miles.
Yes.
Then I think it's a 54-mile bike ride.
You're doing an Ironman, aren't you?
No. This is just my own thing. Then going to do a 10-mile walk with a 30 kg bag on my back, get a Bergen on my back with the weight
much
in.
like an Ironman, even
without the swimming.
This is divine, man.
Then
That's a good name for
I'm
it.
going to come get after the walk, come back here, do a 10-mile row on the indoor rower, and then finish with 100 burpees. So it equates to, if I've got my maths right, it equates to 100 miles. I'm going to do 1 burpee for every mile that I've covered. So that's what the plan is, and then what I'm going to do, going to raise having a GoFundMe page.
Yeah,
Going to have that going, so we're going to raise obviously money for ourselves and for Samaritans as well. And we're going to split it down the middle.
That's great.
But more importantly, it's about raising awareness, and if you put your mind on something, you can achieve it. Hence why it's
and don't quit. Because like you say, it's not quitting, not just powering through.
And I don't care if I have to hobble over and, how long it takes, I'll do it. So
I know you will.
Yeah,
I believe
100%.
You absolutely will. That is so incredible.
Yeah, well, say it's incredible when I've done it.
I like the Ryan Man. I think that should be the name.
Do you know what? That's a really, that's
Iron Man.
That's a really good. Because I was going to do an Iron Man, and I'll be honest, I'm not a good swimmer. I'm a terrible swimmer. So I thought, we'll do this. It's going to, raise some interest for mental, raise some money for us and Samaritans. And also it's a personal challenge for me as well. So
that's brilliant.
Watch this space.
Fantastic. I'm going to clip that, and then it'll be written in Instagram. And
Well, I've got a friend of mine doing he's a graphic designer who's doing a poster at the moment.
Fantastic. I'll definitely plug that.
I'll get that out there because I want this to be massive.
The biggest thing on the island.
And then some. Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. And that's going to be so inspiring seeing you cross that finish line. I mean, wow.
So as many people watching this, obviously, I'm going to document my journey in training as well on Instagram.
Yeah. Might be too soon to ask. Have you worked out how long roughly it might take?
I've literally written this down last week. I was literally sitting in Starbucks and wrote it down what I was going to do.
Wow.
So it's very new.
And to be honest with you, it doesn't matter how long it takes once you work it out.
No.
Getting across.
Yeah.
Just more interesting.
But the end will be obviously doing the rowing in the gym and then come out here to do the 100 burps.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny what you can think of in Starbucks, isn't it? Yeah. The podcast was a shower thought a couple of years ago for me. I was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do it.
The best things like Men Talk as well,
It's our little feedback place, isn't it? On a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah.
Just off to meet for an hour and just had the groups gone, any issues that came up. And it's
checking on each other.
Yeah, checking on each other and getting that, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Where you...
No, we do it again, aren't we?
Getting your own, need to get stuff out of you.
Oh, when you're...
I think I know what you mean as well now, but now I'm getting the brain fog.
Not reflection, empathy. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
When you think of it, it's almost like a supervision kind of thing, isn't it? Where you're digressing.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's like a digressing into into that.
We've got supervision, we've got digression, but it's still a word that I will.
We had this the other week.
I know.
That is before we started recording as well. We're like, what's the word?
Don't worry about it.
I'll think of it. I'll think of it. I did think it might be just, I don't know, I know we touched on him earlier, but just thought it might be fair to mention.
No, please.
Mitch, Mitch, that's obviously would love to be here with us.
Yeah, shall we just quickly say that at the moment he's on a...
Because he's amazingly supportive. He's our third director, as you've already said, and obviously he was really wanting to come here. He's done this to have a little injury, which has obviously taken precedence, but I just felt it fair to mention him that...
Yeah, no, he's a great support.
And he's an amazing support.
He's come on board. He was a good friend of Ben's as well, and we all knew each other, and obviously... Ben's no longer with us, and we thought it'd be good to have someone else on board again, and Mitch was the perfect candidate.
Brilliant.
And he does a lot for us, and shame he can't be here, but he's cut his finger quite badly.
As unfortunate.
As you saw.
Yes, because I turned up, and I'll tell you, because I'm really grateful I actually did meet Mitch still today, because I saw him, and he saw someone just sat there, and I was getting my stuff out of the car, and he went... Any chance we're here for the podcast? And I was like, yeah, I'm the guy doing it. And he's like, I'm one of the three. Not anymore, though. Bless him. I got to chat to him, and, what a lovely man he is.
He is a nice guy.
You just speak to him. Guy. I mean, he was just talking to me, and obviously just bleeding away, bless him. I thought it'd be the best thing to do is just to keep him talking to him, to keep his mind off it. He's talking about Warhammer stuff, and he seems like he's full of life, and we're both. He said he had ADHD, and I've got ADHD. We just bounce off each other.
So openly about it, he really is so free and easy about it, and he's dashing here, there, and everywhere, and constantly.
But once you get his fingers stuck back on, it's not that deep. Hopefully, I really hope.
It'll be good to do another one. Yeah, and then I'll get a bit closer to the event and see how we're progressing with the groups and stuff, and then Mitch can join us and see where we're at.
I always say with this podcast, I've had a returning guest just recently actually, and I always say to all my guests that with mental health, it's not linear. 6 months down the line, we can have a completely different conversation about things. So different.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm always open to having people back on, and with you guys, absolutely. So let's just see where things take us.
100%.
I think there might be a couple of people, because obviously a lot of people do still want that confidentiality aspect of it. But I reckon there'll probably be a couple of the guys in the actual group.
Yeah,
I think that would be really
how it supports them.
I'd love to
I think that would be brilliant. I think that'd be really good, actually.
We've done our own little videos, haven't we, of people?
Because they could do, like Keith, who's doing a bit, he's a, for example, and they could give an outsider's kind of view of what we do.
I'd love links with them. Yeah, even just really quick things. I mean, I'm looking to get, so instead of wired microphones, I'm looking to eventually hopefully get some wireless ones, so I can literally have a quick camera, or even if you want to do it anonymously. Another thing I do with the podcast is actually I offer to do voice changes and no camera if people want to talk anonymously, of course. So again, we can link that in with here if people wanted to talk but are not ready to be on a camera. So I take the cameras away. I do a voice changer.
That's an idea.
And I just want to say, because I guess we're going to conclude in a minute, but to anyone who is out there struggling, please try and reach out to someone. Try and talk to someone.
Camera's on you at the moment.
Just try and talk to someone. No matter what it is, how embarrassing it might feel, how difficult it might be to talk about, just get out there and talk it through, because people want you here and people will miss you if you're not here. So remember, you're not alone.
Fantastic. I don't want to say anything else. I think that was the perfect way to end. Right. Guys, I think we're finishing. As funny as say this is funny. No, it's fine. Stand up. It's fine. I was just literally going to quickly say. No, it's completely fine. I was just going to quickly say, that is the end. Obviously, Ryan's burning over it. But guys, just really quickly, I don't know if was that okay on your side, Rowland? You don't know. I think you said it. You guys have both been amazing. I was actually more nervous to start. That I'm the host, and I got nervous at the beginning, going, "Oh, hi guys." You guys are naturals, and I'm honestly.
A couple of radio ones, haven't I? As well, and you have
Sheppy FM or
BRFM, and then Sheppy have done a couple, and it is like so. At first,
I've done a few on the radio.
I used to be. Now I'm just. Yeah, it's just with this. I sort of take away any. Again, I was just saying earlier, I take away any worry or judgment what anyone thinks. It's not that I don't care, but what's that going to change?
That's the best way to word it. It's almost like it's quite a stoic sort of view, which it's like you can only do your best. You take out everyone else's opinions. That's another whole other conversation we could have. But honestly, you guys are great.
Appreciate having us on.
And thank you for agreeing. It means a lot to me. You're helping me. I hope I'm helping you guys, and hopefully you get a few more people watching this and go, I want to come.
So would we be promoting this then, Ryan? Is that
For what?
This podcast?
What
can we do to help?
Well, the way
on our page.
Exactly. So when I post this,
just like a normal Facebook page.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, once he's done it, if he sends it over to me, I'll put it on there. And also I'll put a link onto the website because a lot of people go over to our website. So I'll get Kev to put that onto our website.
That's exactly it. Yeah. So when I get this out, so this will come out in I'll tell you, we'll quickly finish up and I'll tell you what happens after. So yeah, this has been Finn Tumber as always. I am joined, as I said, with Ryan over here on there. I hope you know who Ryan is by now. And Rowland at men-talk.uk to be precise. Thank you very much, guys, again. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you for the next episode next Sunday. So until then, thank you very much. See you later, guys.